This week on Rockstar Superhero. If there ever was a band that decided to bring old school back, it has to be Black Wail. Comprised of 5 incredibly talented musicians, Black Wail brings an intangible of epic proportions and a classic rock vibe that cannot be denied. If you like Thin Lizzy, Clutch, Mastodon, or Cactus, or just the sound of melodic dueling guitars, well, Black Wail is for you. Speaking to guitarist and frontman Michael Tarlazzi, I was able to get a brief breakdown of the recipe to their hard-edged sound, and as it turns out, it isn't so much how, but who. Black Wail delivers because they are Black Wail. Born on Fire, the new EP, can be purchased and downloaded ASAP. If you're not sure, check out the song Sea Conspiracy on YouTube. You'll definitely be sure after you hear the sludge. It is fantastic rock and roll. Black Wail will release a follow-up EP later this year. So do whatever you need to do and buy this and the future EP. And while you're at it, get the older and equally awesome records. It's worth your time. Lastly, if your taste in music is anything like mine, you'll be more than happy you picked it up, so take my advice and go. Go get it now. This is my interview with Mike Tarlazzi from Black Wail on the Rockstar Superhero Podcast.
How's the pub tour going? You guys have been sort of running with the devil, right, with this new EP coming out?
It's coming out. It's been really weird because of, well, the obvious thing with this whole COVID mumbo jumbo happening. There's no shows, so it's been like, but we're lucky. We have a studio. We have all our gear together. We got a nice, comfortable spot for us to hang out in. We've all been basically blessed to have jobs that we can work from home, and kind of like not have to really be in the thick of stuff. And so we've been basically hanging out together the whole time anyway.
Yeah. You get to write and play music. You don't have to worry about being a rock star right now.
That's all it was. Well, we never worried about that really anyway.
Yeah, I sense that from the new record, it's called Born on Fire, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and it comes out April 23rd, and from what I've read, it was written kind of during the last year, or at least the waning years of the Trump presidency and the coronavirus and all the other crap, and I think the title of the record seems really apropos because given the circumstances of the world right now, it makes a lot of sense. Is that what you were trying to convey, that, hey, we're all in a bit of chaos here, but we're gonna go down together?
Well, here's the thing. I love, first of all, that this is what people are getting from it, because it's we never set out to be a political band or have any kind of thing like that. We all have opinions, obviously, but I mean, it's like but it was never a specific thing that we were going to be like activists and have a political message in our music. It just basically came out of things that you can't ignore. Everyone's living through it. Americans are, as an American, as we all know, we're all living through this now. Everyone's seeing this. Everyone is in a place of, everyone's wondering what is going on. Everyone. No matter what side you're on, no matter what your race is, or any of these things, everyone's living through it at the same time, and everyone's kind of scared. And you can't deny it. You can't ignore it. There's things that are just happening to everybody, and if you can take anything away from it, if you can make any of this stuff into any kind of positive, is that at least we can maybe learn from each other,
Yeah.
There's some things that we can realize that there are, we're all one country, but within this country, there are many different cultures.
Yes. That's a perfect
And,
way to put it.
and
Yeah.
people have different world views, different opinions. So
Yeah.
I don't really know what the answer is, but I think that we should defer to a common sense approach, whatever
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah. Well, God forbid you have an opinion, especially as a rock band, right?
Right.
It's insane.
Well, I mean, like, I don't really, honestly, I don't give a crap what people think. I don't really want to even put it that way, because that's not true. I do care what people think.
Sure.
I don't want to offend anybody. It's just that there are certain things that, from where I'm coming from, I can see things clear as day. Some things are a little more of a gray area that is not my place to have an opinion about, or
Yeah.
I'm damn sure not going to be the one that can solve the problem.
Yeah. I get it, buddy. It's a tough one, but the thing is at least you're standing fast for who you are. You can't. I mean, yes, you do have to worry about what your audience thinks. I mean, to a point, that's how it works, because you want to develop an audience. You don't want to push them away, but at the same time, you got to speak your truth, and you kind of got to roll with that punch. But we live in this world where you're not allowed to have an opinion, and if it's especially if if it's different from others, and especially in politics, my
Right.
God, God,
How
man.
dare you have it?
Yeah. The new EP has a really insanely cool edge to it. I haven't heard it in a long time, and that kind of vibe, right? And your not marketing, excuse me, your publicity company, they sent me the first this new EP, and I got to heard that Sea Conspiracy song,
Yeah.
which of course is kind of about all the things we're talking about. And I fell out of my seat, man. So I'm 54 years old. So I mean, I've got some edge on you. I've got some time. The thing is all the influence I heard in there are all things I grew up on. They're things I love, and the music, the lyrics, everything about this thing made me smile. It was mind-blowing. I loved it so much. I was in a coffee shop, and I'm sitting there pounded down a drink, I played it 5 times in a row, and I laughed every time, because
That's cool, man.
it just makes me so happy.
Awesome, cool. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say. It's hard to quantify where it's coming from, but we all have different. We all come from different backgrounds. Musically speaking, but I think it all comes together very well. Like me, I don't really, I don't like, I'm not just, the whole music genre thing is a weird concept to me, because I something's not metal enough, or it's not
Right.
punk rock enough, or whatever people say all the time. I hear all kinds of shit, but it's like, we all come from a background of classic rock, I would say.
Yes.
And then everything branching off of that, and then we all like heavy music, so there's a little bit of thrash in there, there's a little bit of classic rock, there's a little bit of psychedelic music,
Yes.
which I guess you could jumble it all together and nowadays call it stoner rock, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's I like that. That's cool. That's a good thing to call it, I guess. But yeah, the whole Sea Conspiracy concept was born out of just seeing all this stuff that you can't ignore on the news and whatnot, social media and wherever you go, the crazy things that people are saying, and like, they believe this.
Really believe it.
This is right. This is something that we think is real. It's like, that's so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Really scary. Don't want to get into any specifics, because that's the beauty of it.
You don't have to.
lot of metaphors happening, and But like I said, we didn't start out or set out to write a political thing. It was just so in our faces. It's just there. You can't ignore it. Seemed like something to write a song about.
Yeah, I'm always hesitant to talk about influences with bands because a lot of times I'm wrong, right? It's just kind of what I heard and not necessarily what you're hearing. And two, a lot of people don't want to be compared to any one thing, but can I share some influences I heard in it?
Sure, love it.
Okay, so there's got to be some Clutch in there.
Oh yeah,
There has to be some Thin Lizzy in there. There
absolutely.
has to be maybe a little bit of Queens, maybe a little, Caius in there, the whole stoner rock vibe thing. But what I really got out of it, the first things I heard were Cactus and Raging Slab.
Okay, wow.
And I
Okay.
love both those bands because they're groove-oriented, heavy rock bands, right? And at the end of at least See Conspiracy, when the song kind of changes into this much more flowy melodic thing,
Mhm.
it was all Ozzy and Mastodon.
Yeah,
So I
cool.
think it's rad, man. I mean, I can't tell you how much I love it. Maybe even a little Melvin's, I don't know, but it's really badass, and it does all the things a song's supposed to do. Carries you on a journey, makes you smile the whole damn time, and I mean, I was just absolutely headbanging. So you
I
blew it out of the
appreciate
park.
that, man. That's a great compliment.
Yeah,
We definitely have like kind of embraced this style of meandering compositions. I know when we first started, it was much more simplistic,
yeah,
and as we progressed as a band, just playing together and kind of stretching out and feeling out how everyone plays and interacts with each other, we are it just became that. Like all of our songs are, they start one way and then turn into something totally else.
yeah, yeah,
It goes off into a whole other thing, but somehow remains cohesive. It
yeah,
sounds like it's supposed to be there. Uh,
yeah.
so a lot of those comparisons you made are great. I love that stuff. All those bands that you named, I'm definitely influenced by. I love those bands. I love that you picked up on the Thin Lizzy thing. It's like early Thin Lizzy is one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
Really, really, really love that band.
Oh,
The
nice.
interaction, just like the drumming, and then as they went on with the two guitars, the guitar harmony thing is what we're really loving about Black Wail right now.
Yeah.
Just being able to play and come up with songs like that. That's just it's the best, man.
Yeah. No, it's this groove and it's the feel. There's a swing to it, there's a bounce. And what I noticed like on the bass parts is, it's kind of a eighth note progressive thing, right? But it just reminds me so much of the way Phil plays, which is I should credit that to your bass player, and I don't remember her name.
Susan
Susan.
Luton, yeah,
She's fantastic. You tell her thanks to me because that's
I
killer.
will.
I'm a drummer, and you're a drummer, correct? But you just
I
happen to
am.
play guitar and
I
sing now
started
for
out
the
on
band.
drums. Yeah, that's my first instrument. I got a drum set for Christmas when I was like 10 years old.
Nice.
And my dad's a musician, so we always had like the a band instrument set up in the basement. So I grew up around all this stuff. My dad's got a great taste in music, a lot of classic rock records that I would listen to growing up. So I got the best education
That's
for this
awesome.
stuff. Um, and yeah, I started out as a drummer, and my sister got a bass. My dad bought my sister a bass at the same
Nice.
time as I got my drum set. So we immediately started jamming in the basement together.
Oh man.
Rush
That's
songs,
yeah, yeah, of course.
like Rush's first album,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
like that, those kind of things, and
More Led Zeppelin vibe.
Let's just gonna say it, Led Zeppelin, all that stuff, coming out with that, and figuring out how to groove like that. That's really where all that stuff comes from. And
Yeah.
then my dad was a guitar player, so he had guitars and amps and when it was too late to play my drums because it was too loud. I would
Yeah.
pick up the guitar and just start, figuring out whatever. And we're talking, this is years ago, man. I'm 45 now, so
Wow.
like this is all going. We're talking about like 30 years ago.
You're doing the thing though, man. I mean, see, that's the thing. That's what I love about guys like you. And look, this is not a slam at all. I dream to be doing what you're doing. I don't have the balls to do what you're doing. I ended up getting married and having kids and being, like, what should I pick? But the truth is what I've fallen in love with, man, is I get to meet guys like you. I get to talk about that music. I get to get it out to my audience. I get them hot on it, excited about it. There's a tastemaker attitude to it, that I didn't get to do when I was busy touring and playing music. And now that I'm here with you, I couldn't be happier because you guys are literally playing. I say this a lot to bands and I get it. I'm an excitable guy, but I love what you're doing. I mean, I love it. And my audience is going to eat it up.
Cool, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's inspiring, man. Just to hear, I'm glad people like it. It's cool.
Oh, for God's sake, man. But I've been wanting to ask this, and I know we're limited on time, so let me make sure I get to this. There's two things I want to know. One, I want to kind of understand your songwriting process, if there is a process. And two, and maybe you can answer this first. The record sounds like it was recorded on 2-inch. It's super analog. And I wondered who your producer was and how they were able to achieve that, because it doesn't sound, super clean. It's grungy and ugly and beefy and ballsy. And that's really rare today. So how'd you guys do it?
Well, I'm glad you said that. And I think that John's going to love this. So the person who produced it is John Seymour. We're lucky to be friends with John, who is a great guy. He goes way back. I think he cut his teeth at Electric Ladyland in New York City.
Oh my God!
As an engineer, so he has a couple of Grammys.
Well, he should.
For some bands that he recorded. I don't want to go out and blow up his spot or whatever. You can look him up. His name's John Seymour. He's an excellent producer. He has on his property, he has a studio in his backyard, which is one of the coolest studios you've ever seen.
That's
so
awesome.
Much gear. I don't think it was not recorded on tape. I'll say that.
That's almost a bummer.
It went through these racks and upon racks of all of this vintage analog outboard gear.
Yeah.
So everything was recorded, through some really cool mics and, not just in the box plugins or whatever. It was like, a pretty nifty studio. Now, all of that shit really doesn't matter when it comes to the person's ears that are doing it. And I really give all the credit to John for that, because he's an excellent producer. He kind of knew, he was able to take our musicians' novice, explanations of how we wanted it to sound. I want it to sound gritty. I want there to be a little more in there. And he knows exactly what that means.
Yeah.
He knows how to interpret that into the real world. So
yeah,
that was really cool. Also, he's just a really great guy. So you hang out with him and it's just like a great time the whole time. Really inspiring. He's been around the block a few times, so he knows what to say to us and how it's supposed to, how to get what we're thinking out onto tape. You know what I mean? So that's how we did it. I don't really know a lot of the specifics because I mess around. I have my own recording equipment and we have it in our studio. We make demos all the time. But I don't really know what I'm doing. I just do what I do, and we make a demo just for just to get something to listen to and have a reference point to, practice to. When it comes
Yeah.
to recording the final project and getting that stuff off, I leave that to somebody else. Somebody knows what they're doing.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. With the way things are done today, yeah, there's so much cool gear that can emulate the way things were, if you will, right?
Right.
And yeah, the record has a very sort of 70s vibe. It almost actually sounds like there's a band from the Vancouver area called Black Mountain. I don't know if you know who they are, but
Sounds
it's
familiar.
yeah, it's that kind of thing.
Black.
Yeah.
The word black. I like it
Yeah.
already.
Yeah. No, check them out. They're great. If anybody listening, check it out. Black Mountain is really different, but we're talking to Black Wail, and Black Wail is way more badass, So you did actually 2 EPs, is that correct? You've got one coming out on Friday and then another one coming out when?
Yeah, it's I don't think we have the date nailed down yet, but it's going to be this year.
Okay.
We actually set up 2 sessions. And we did like a first group of songs with John, and then we went to a different studio with another group of songs. So they're both Black Wail, but they're 2 separate things. They're different enough that we were like, you know what, let's just put out 2 EPs. We don't know when shows are going to start happening again. Let's just put all our efforts into putting out this music, getting out into the world, see if we can promote it, and then when shows start happening again, just like get right back on in the saddle and start doing it again, because that's what we really like to do. We like to play shows. We just have so much fun playing together. We're really kind of kindred spirits, I think. And when this band came together, we all just kind of were like, "Oh, this is easy."
Yeah, I get it.
This is great,
Yeah, and earning one fan at a time, which is very Clutch-like.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, man, it's all gravy, to tell you the truth. Nobody had an agenda at all when we started this band except to just have fun. I've been friends with Susan for a long time. Just from living in Jersey City and rolling in the same circles. And we always said, one of these days we're going to start a band together, because we always had a great time just jamming at parties and, hanging out, talking about music and stuff. And then we finally, like 2014, we just said, let's just do it. Let's start it. And it just came together. It was the easiest, most organic thing you've ever heard. It was just so perfect in the sense that we had no agenda, no plan at all. It just happened, and here we are.
Yeah. But that's how it's supposed to work.
Any publicity, any fans that we've gained has all just been icing on the cake.
Yeah. No, you're doing it for the right reasons, man. You're doing it because you love it, not because of celebrity or money. You're doing it because you love it.
That's for damn sure. We're not getting any money.
I don't think anybody's making money these days, brother. I'd read something that said you guys were the JC supergroup, and of course, because I'm not from New Jersey. I've only been to Jersey City once. I didn't know what JC was for a few minutes, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like you're Jesus' favorite new band. I wanted.
We were all in different bands, coming up. We've all been musicians. We all knew each other just from being in the scene in New Jersey and whatnot. And that's really how it happened. Like Susan was in a few bands. Susan went to college in Boston and was in a band called Heidi back in the 90s. That was signed to Warner Brothers. And then not sure really what happened with that, but and then I was playing drums in another band before this, and Ed and Felipe were in a band together that was like a total progressive metal band, super heavy, like Meshuggah almost.
Wow.
Band. And then we used to go see them because they were around. And then we just became friends, we hit it off. And and Bram lived down the street from me, and he was just around always. He an encyclopedic kind of knowledge of all kinds of music, and we were already friends, and then we just became a band, and it was like the best thing ever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Felipe, did he record the album, or was it you? Or okay, okay, killer drums, man. I loved it.
Yeah,
I
no,
loved his
Felipe
approach. It's solid.
Thanks, man. A fun fact about Felipe is that he's actually also the drummer of a band called. Now it's slipping my mind what the name of the band is.
No worries.
But well, he's in another band actually too. But he was also the touring drummer for the last incarnation of the Monkees.
What? That's crazy.
So Felipe actually toured the world with the Monkees.
Wow, wow. I've always wanted to interview Mickey Dolenz, so I'll have to interview Felipe so you can tell me what it was like.
Hit him up, man. Send an email. Felipe's around.
I wanted to throw one more thing at you before I let you go. Chromium Homes, you guys did. You released it back in 2017. And I was listening to it the other day because, again, like I said, I want to do my research. I want to make sure I'm prepared for these shows. And it's a different sounding album. It's a different time and whatnot. What's changed in the band that created this new thing? Because it seems to me that there's the DNA, of Black Wail from the very beginning. I mean, certainly your voice and certain ways of approaching the guitar tones, for example. But this new album is way more just straightforward, and I wondered what the catalyst for that was.
I can tell you exactly what it is. But a major difference between Chromium Homes and the new stuff we're doing now is that Ed Sharoon was the drummer on that record.
Oh, okay.
And
it's a feel thing.
Mm-hmm. And then Ed switched to the second guitar.
Oh,
and
wow.
we brought in Felipe as the drummer.
So there's 3 drummers in the band.
Yeah.
Holy crap, poor Felipe.
Yes. No, we were all like, why would we even bother playing drums when we know this guy?
Yeah,
because
I get it.
Felipe is like the best drummer I've ever seen in my life. And I consider myself completely lucky that he even wants to hang out and play in our band. Because he's friggin' awesome. And we both think that. And it also freed up the thing where me and Ed can play guitars together. So it really worked out because we wanted to, a lot of the recordings we did, we were like, let's double this guitar.
Yeah.
And we were always thinking, like, wouldn't it be cool if we could do this live? Like, have these 2 guitars, and that's really where it was born from. We're like, why don't you move off of the drums and play guitar with me, and we'll get like, we'll like, let's ask Felipe, let's see if he'll do it,
Yeah.
And he was like super into it, so we were like, oh my god, this is gonna be great. And that's really the difference. So now we are coming at it with the approach of having 2 guitars, which really, especially live, makes it such a heavy sound,
Yeah. Well, in the solos too, I mean, you get that it's like a cross between Iron Maiden and the Scorpions, right? You get that, so the dual harmonic lead thing going on, It's killer.
Yeah, we love it.
Man, tell us where to get the new record, buddy. When that's coming out in 2 days. I'm going to be dropping this podcast ASAP so we can get you some juice.
Cool.
But where can everybody get the merch and the record?
It's going to come out Friday the 23rd. It's going to be available on all the streaming platforms.
Nice.
It's going to be on YouTube, and it's going to be available through. You'll be able to go to blackwhaleband.com, and that will bring you to the Rhyme and Reason page, which will also have ways of getting the record. And it also has links to like our merch. Get a T-shirt if you want. We got T-shirts. And we have a website, blackwhaleband.com. Also, we're trying to grow our Instagram. So if you guys want to go to Black Wail, that's Black, W-A-I-L, Black Wail on Instagram. Trying to get that going. That's probably going to be something. That's going to be the social media that we're going to focus on.
Makes sense.
Just because it just seems like that's where everyone's going now.
Yeah.
We're too old to be TikTokers, but Instagram we can do.
I get it, brother. Well, I promise I'm going to be getting everybody to you. I'll make sure I link everybody to it. I have a good listener base, so hopefully we'll get you, like I said, some mojo, get some downloads, get some sales. When you're out on tour, let me know personally when you're out on tour, and I'll make sure I put 200 people in a club for you. You guys deserve the accolades, you deserve the attention. I love your band. Black Wail is the real deal. And Mike, thank you. Thanks for giving me some time, brother. Thank you.
No problem.